Is your name Jeff Bezos? No? Well, then your living standards are about to be drastically reduced. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what's going on. You could see there are the rise of robots and automation that have come through, and we've seen what companies have been doing in response to the higher wages. As soon as you look around and start to see this for what it is, you're then able to to see what I'll show you momentarily. You got to understand the governments are preparing for the living standards to decline. I recently did a video that not many people were actually watching, but it is very clear that in Canada, the report was made public, a secret document that came out of the RCMP. Okay, think of this like the FBI for Canada. And in that document, they specifically stated 5 years down the road, conditions will continue to deteriorate. And that's been happening. Prices are rising, people are becoming disgruntled, and civil unrest is actually getting worse, and it is a problem. This is the admission in the secret document. Today, I'm going to show you what is that fuel to this fire. Let me bring it to you right away, no time to waste. Apple explores home robotics as potential next big thing after car fizzles. The company has teams working on automated home devices. The search is on for new growth sources after EV gets nixed. So they went into this electronic vehicle thing, electric vehicles. Hey, we're going to do this. We spent 10 years on it. We spent multiple billions of dollars. We pulled in engineers from all over the world. Didn't work out. And now what do? Hey, what's cool right now? We got AI. Oh, we're doing AI stuff now. Yeah, we're doing robots now. Now, a lot of the things in a car, the way that it reads the world and so on, they're familiar with this because of their work on the car. So they could do that with robots. Some of it, I'm sure, goes over. It's not a complete waste. But looking at this, it just means they're moving on to the next big thing. Why don't they just mine Bitcoin while they're at it? Okay. So this is what they're doing. And certainly they could make it, but we waited 10 years for Project Titan, as they called it, to come to fruition, and it never did. Will this? We'll see. All right. And you let me know if you want a robot hanging around your house. Internet of Bodies may lead to Internet of Brains by 2050. This is RAND, okay? The RAND Corporation, high-level think tank. Transhumanism may lead to superhuman capabilities for some and mind control for others. That's what they're saying here. The Internet of Bodies may also ultimately lead to an Internet of Brains, i.e. human brains, connected to the Internet to facilitate direct brain-to-brain communication and enable access to online data networks. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, I'm never putting the brain chip in. I'm never allowing them to have any sort of, way to manipulate me. But understand how this works and understand the world that we are moving into. So you're seeing Elon Musk, they get the brain chip, and that guy who's quadriplegic is actually able to now communicate in this way that he couldn't before. Fantastic. Hopefully there'll be more developments for people who have no ability to move, to do certain basic elements, that they can get those functions back. That's great. But then we move into the next level. What if it goes from experimental stuff and clinical trials, and then it moves into the public? Anyone could just get it. All right, now what do we have? People who say, oh, if I get that, suddenly I know all the history of all this particular subject. I'm instantly more valuable to my company. I'll get it. There's going to be one guy, then it's going to be two, then it's going to be three, and then suddenly they only want to hire people with those brain chips. And so people will be, in a sense, forced to get it, or they got to find an alternate business to work in, because all of these different businesses will start requiring it because they know that guy's way smarter than all the rest. So just think about that, okay? Think about that for a second. Don't just say, I'm not going to get it. You got to have your plan B in place now. That's why I've been telling people and screaming about it related to the the business live that I do on Sundays. Okay, that's just anyway, besides the point. Restaurant robots are the vanguard of automation. It's not coming for fast food workers' jobs, it's actually helping them. That's right. That thing that they implemented for $30,000 that can do the job of two guys, it's not going to actually eliminate their jobs. Oh no, it's going to help them. And then we have this. California's $20 fast food minimum wage balloons menu prices, with some chains increasing costs by nearly $2. So that sandwich was costing you $10 before, it's now 12. That's right, they increased minimum wage, and immediate on that same day, they said, okay, and we're increasing the prices. So of course the customer has to pay. If they don't want that, well, what do? They fire the people and they allow robots to do the job. It's not a surprise to see that a corporation is always going to do what it needs to do, or it just simply shutters its doors. And then nobody's employed. Walmart, 7-Eleven, and Chick-fil-A launch a new project to speed up every shopping trip. You won't even need to go to the store. They are changing the way people are accessing products. Number one, yes, we're shopping more online, but at the same time, we are going through these new things. We're using the self-checkouts, and we're using these locker type systems where you don't interact with humans because, hey, who wants to interact with humans these days, right? Am I right? Okay. Wendy's is delivering food by drone for the first time. Yes, they're all kind of going towards this. We've heard Walmart doing this and others. Drone delivery is something that I think is limited in scope. You can't just have millions and millions of drones going around and be all exploding. Drones will be falling on your head. But I think maybe for emergency circumstances, this could be beneficial. But Wendy's, depends how hungry you are, but I'm not sure that's exactly not exactly an emergency, but here, this is talking about the self-checkout line, and what Walmart is trying to do is they're trying to say, okay, you got to be part of our higher tier. You got to pay for a membership at Walmart to now be able to access some of the self-checkout lines. And of course, people are upset about that. So they're even restricting the self-checkout. So now you got to wait in this lineup that's twice as long, and they're trying to create new ways of creating revenue. That's what's happening to all these companies. They're trying all these little different things. I know for myself with Amazon, they're all increasing fees. All of these companies are increasing their fees. Californians asked to keep showers short despite ample water. Okay, so this is where we get to the next level. You got to understand something. They are doing all of these things and you're paying higher prices for services, higher prices for goods. You could say, I'm going to shop at home. But let's be honest, the prices at the grocery store have also gone up. We've seen that all over the place. And I think, there's not many, you can reduce. You could say, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to shop at that store. But ultimately, everything keeps going up. And so that's an issue, but at the same time, they are restricting us. And in this case here, they're basically saying, look, you're in California, you can't charge your electric vehicle because we're having problems with the grid. We told everybody you got to be forced to use an electric vehicle. And we're also telling you simultaneously that there's going to be certain times where you can't charge your electric vehicle, which means you can't drive. Oh, but it gets worse. So they don't want people taking showers, right? Don't use up that water. If you remember, I think it was Prince Charles at the time. The quote is, snub the tub. Snub the tub. Don't take a bath because you're going to use too much water. He literally said that. Look, we got to do this for the climate. We got to do this for the environment. Snub the tub. The guy has 100, or at least at that time, had over 120 servants just for himself. Over 120. Okay? Snub the tub, though. For you. Is that okay with you? I know there are a lot of people that say, yes, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with making sure that they are taken care of, that they consistently get money. People in Canada love the so-called royal family. Okay, that's fine if you like that. Look what they're doing. Micro apartments are back after nearly a century. as need for affordable housing source. Now, in this circumstance, or the article, they're basically talking about this one guy who was homeless at one point. And of course, if you're homeless and then you're moving into this place, which by the way, it's super tiny, but it looked clean, it looked new, it looked, renovated. So that's incredible, obviously. But what's happening here is that everybody is going into these like pod lifestyle. They're living like many, many people to a home and tiny homes. And the way that things are going, it's not going to be able to get any better. Okay, this is an issue because we're being squeezed further and further. This is talking about Chinese humanoid robots. I think that a lot of people are going to be dealing with these robots in one way, shape, or form at some point. I've seen, you do see some things that are considered to be, robots or basically the elimination of a human being that used to be there. Like you might deal with an iPad or some sort of little tablet or something instead of a person, but it will be more and more integrated into all different businesses that we have to interact with. Okay. And I think where we are headed is the circumstance that, people don't realize this. Okay. We are being forced into the circumstances where things are being restricted from us. Our own livelihoods are reliant on systems that we absolutely cannot conjure up ourselves. So they're restricting our water, they're restricting our energy, and they're restricting our access to basic essentials. At the same time, the price of everything is increasing so fast that we have no way, absolutely no way to ever, no way to ever basically get out of that. It's a vicious cycle and it's a spiral downward. And I think for a lot of people, they are assuming that, we'll get this guy, we'll vote him in, or we'll vote that guy in, or we'll get rid of this governor and we'll put that, person, politician. And I've studied it. I've studied it over and over again. And if you just zoom out, if you just be honest with yourself, and if you can just deal with the painful experience of truth, then it will become clear that no politician is ever going to help you. That's the reason they became a politician. They have their special interests that they need to help. You got to think about this. Why would a politician get into that role when, okay, the highest position you're ever going to be is, if you're the president, if you're prime minister, you're making a few $100,000. That's the highest you're ever going to get. And there's only one of those spots. Okay. It doesn't make sense. When the case of, let's say, Nancy Pelosi, she made much more than her salary, right? So it obviously offers them benefits that go beyond the title. And it's not about helping out everybody else. It's about being able to help themselves, help out the special interests. We are being restricted on all levels. This is a big concern. And what I have seen is the fact that people right now today, they don't even realize this, but a lot of the individuals have, it's crazy to look at this. I can show you this momentarily. Just looking at the limit of personal consumption of hydrocarbons by individual Canadians in terms of allowable miles traveled by motor vehicle, train, or air. Now, what does that all mean? What does that entail? I want to tell you that in the next video. This is extremely important, but you got to realize something. For a lot of people, they are not prepared for what's coming. I have information located at the top of the description that I want you to check out. I want you to be a part of that. Things are coming down right now, and I want you to be ready for this. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. It does support the channel. I want to thank you for that, and I'll check you out on the next video. Take care.